just made a comment about the fact that your son beats this guy now. Why is that?
Because it is said that he is a heavy puncher. Well, I believe Christopher can take a punch. I'm very good at math and looking at a fighter and seeing what his abilities are. I can't see that Golovkin has anything like Christopher's speed, his power, his punching ability, his hand speed, his foot movement. I don't see that from a calculating point of view. I don't see that he has anything like that. So then it's going to come down to heart. He's got my dino-ribonucleic acid.
Say that again, please.
DNA.
So, I mean, from your point of view, the tests that he's had up to date, how have they prepared your son for those sterner tests to come?
What tests are you talking about?
Well, I'm just referring to the 17 challenges he's had as a pro.
I'm not talking about those tests.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about tests that I saw him put up with in Cuba.
Right. Being
beaten up by a heavyweight over 3 rounds. And he took the beating, which is what manager, trainer, maybe even father, if he wants his son to be the best, he's going to want to see whether he can handle that type of pressure. Because if you can handle that, then your speed, irrepressibility, punching combination ability, all of that then comes into play. Tell me.
Talk about the contractual disputes and positions that led us up to this point today, being a little bit, but they could have run a lot smoother. Why is it because we just witnessed a private conversation between yourself and Frank. Why is it so important that for you that your son controls as much of his destiny as he can? Is it because that didn't happen for you?
Of course it didn't. I didn't have anyone to actually protect me, so I was taken advantage of, as most fighters are, which is why I've said Christopher will change his game. Why? Because he has a man like me who has gone through those mistakes, has made those mistakes, has been taken advantage of. So now everything goes through the lawyers. Now, in order to actually explain to you and the viewers why we haven't come to a press conference before today, the fact of the matter is the Boxing Board of Control only gave sanction to the British title fight this morning at 10:30.
Why was they trying to rush you into announcing it then?
Because that's what they've always done to all fighters from time immemorial.
So that's and by the son's taking control and changing the game.
Indeed.
It's not bound to that pressure.
Well, there has been a lot of pressure, but we've done everything by the law. And only by doing that, he's changed the game already. By doing that alone. Never mind what he's going to do in the boxing ring.
Billy wasn't here today in person. Technology kind of failed us. He was here via Skype from Spain. Do you think we'll see Chris Eubank Jr. and Billy Joe Saunders in the same room before the fight on the 29th?
Everything's possible. Everything's possible.
And I mean, where that happens, will you come up to London for the press conference? You mentioned in the press conference here today you'd like that down in Brighton.
Well, usually I wouldn't allow Christopher to break training, especially when the fight is already built.
And Chris, sorry, you as a boxer, obviously you've had injuries as well in the past. Isn't there a temptation for Chris not to have that fight on October the 25th because of a possible injury? It could be anything, bicep tear, even a leg injury. Is there a temptation for him to not to have the fight and skip to the Billy Joe Saunders fight straight away?
I was once approached by a man who wanted to speak to me about elite athletes, of which he saw me to be an example. And he said it's because I went through my career and I always made the date, and injuries never seem to actually come up. I always had injuries. They are illusions. So, in effect, he will not have any injuries. Even if he has, they're not really there. When a referee says box, everything disappears, and then you have peace of mind to what you've been practicing. So you then start working on autopilot. So injuries, that's not going to happen. This is just a frame of mind.
What do you make of Billy Joe's repeated assertion that he's going to retire if he loses to Chris Jr.? Do you think that's real? I just ask him because I can't imagine a contract negotiation going on without the champion having a rematch clause in there.
It's unfortunate because he shouldn't say this. This is, nobody wants him to retire. I mean, if he should lose, why should he retire? But he should never put that pressure on himself.
It's a foolishness.
Well, it's folly. No, I wouldn't advise that you talk like that. I mean, remember that a fighter I fought some time ago spoke that way, and it's not sensible.
Give me your views and opinions on the middleweight scene as you see it globally. I mean, you've already talked about Golovkin, but just looking at some of those who are coming up, maybe in your son's position, maybe a step or two ahead of your son.
Great Britain is going to be represented by Junior. He's got it to prove, and I am a promoter, so I'm going to promote just that. I believe in him, and I think he's going to actually represent the United Kingdom to the globe in boxing. I think he is the next Floyd Mayweather Jr. Wow,
that's big talk.
It's not big because I know him and I know boxing.
It's big because Floyd's massive in terms of a boxing entity. That's why I said.
And I think Christopher can do the same. I don't see why he can't. I'm doing the math. Yeah. I can't see why he can't.
What was the feedback you got from the Mayweather camp? Because Chris went out there, trained with the money team. What feedback did you get from the money team on Chris?
Floyd Mayweather Sr. said to me, "Yeah, he's got what it takes." But it's not that I need verification from anybody else. I'm going by my own experience and my own gut feel and my own math, my own calculations. So,
final question here as well, Chris. You and Christopher Jr. obviously are very much in control of your career and where you are. Are you looking at now in terms of Chris 17 fights in? Are you kind of where you wanted to be in terms of next opposition, in terms of level of opponent?
I would have preferred for him to have another 6 or 7 fights, but this is okay. I mean, we have to run with the market, and Christopher is, in my view, he's not a horse. He's above that. He's a stallion. He's leading the pack, but only he is behind. He's got it to prove. And that's the rub. Again, it's the rub. It's what we have to look forward to. Am I wrong? Again, that's the interest. We, the public, me too, we're looking for interest. Who is this guy? Can he do what the father is saying? Can he do what he's saying? I'm saying, I think he can.
You wrote down and you said Chris is going to represent Great Britain on a global scale, and you wrote down on a piece of paper, defend the British title 3 times. Is that your plan after?
We've already talked about this. I was just trying to remind him because obviously he has other things on his mind as well. Right now, we didn't know Billy Joe Saunders was going to be actually here, even though it's by telecommunications. We didn't know that. And I didn't want him to forget the fact that we are actually... he is going to defend that title 3 times and win a Lonsdale belt and actually restore some pride and dignity in this British institution that Lord Queensberry put together. So we just want to bring some dignity back to the game, and in the process lift and project and lift the United Kingdom in the world of boxing.
A lot of support out there for him to do just that. Are you surprised by that? Given that he's a champion yet?
People want to be entertained, and so they're hoping that he can do what he says he can do, and what I have asserted. And I would like to think that the public perhaps have a trust in the fact that I've been there at A level, and that I possibly know what I'm talking about, and so they're looking for the entertainment.
My last question then, Chris, is if you're building a fighter, as you said in the press conference, if you're mapping his progress on a percentage scale, how far or how close to being a complete fighter is he?
He has, in my view, the irrepressibility of a young Roberto Duran, the fearlessness and walk-down ability of a young James Toney. He has the hand speed and punching combination ability of a young Roy Jones Jr. And he has my dino-ribonucleic acid, my DNA. So, who knows? This is my view, and I'm doing math, I'm doing measure. it's going to be nice to see. Let's see. Let's see whether he can entertain us like fighters did of the past. You know, the greats. Leonard, Hagler, Tyson. Let's see whether, you know, he can give us some of that that grit that inspired us to love boxing.
We last time out in Newcastle, we saw you in the ring. I thought was very entertaining as well with your son. Will you be in the corner? Will you be ringside? We know, but will you be in the corner for his next fight?
Whether you see me or not, I'm always there. You know, he's my son. I am in him. He is me. I am him. And he's a good young man. And furthermore, let me just add this one more point. I don't know where anyone has seen him badmouth anyone. People are saying that he's arrogant. I don't understand. Where did you see him? Where did you see my son behaving arrogantly? Oh, if you're talking about his stance, if you're talking about his swag, that's in the ring. When speaking to people, he is not rude, he is not ill-mannered. How could he be? He's his father's son.
I asked him earlier about the panto villain role that they seem to be trying to impart on you. What are your thoughts on that? Do you care at all?
I care, because I cared. They always made me out to be the villain. But I was the choir boy. I was the one who was objective. But they did me a great favor, because the public really don't dislike you. You're just entertainment. And they made me an entertaining type character because I spoke well, and I suppose because of that they thought, well, perhaps this guy's a pretender. So in them making me the anti-hero, the fact that I could keep on proving them wrong because I was actually genuine and pure, I thank them for building a fan base for me and giving me the opportunity to speak gently and calmly about the objectivity that I live. And I really hope that my son can do the same. It's a great and wonderful and fantastic, magical platform. And I hope he enjoys what I've been able to enjoy over the years.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.